Hey guys, what is going on? This is JackAttack45, and today I have a Pershing replay to show you guys. And as Ollie Green Dot is gonna say right there, I hope your back is strong, Jack. And this was an awesome game in my Pershing. I've really enjoyed this tank. This tank is one of the tier 8 mediums with about the same alpha and the same gun depression as the Centurion and the STA. I kind of have the trio of them right now. As you can see, this is a tier 8 game. Decent matchup. Our team is not the best, but neither is theirs, so it should be fun. And the Pershing, 10 degrees of gun depression. Got a pretty troll gun mallet up there, and that IS-3 just decides to drive right into me. I'm going to change this to that so you guys can see. And yeah, this tank is very fun. It's a little bit faster than Centurion. It doesn't have as troll of turret armor, but I found that the gun mantlet bounces pretty much anything you can throw at, as long as you're facing tier 8s. So if you get into tier 9s and tier 10s, it's a little bit more of a problem. It's got decent DPM. I do have Brothers in Arms on this tank, so it does help a little bit with the DPM. And this is one of my most highly skilled American crews. So this tank ends up being pretty fun for me, I think. Let's go over the gun really quick, because that is one of the reasons why people don't really like this tank. 180 pen and 240 alpha on its 90mm. Now, it's pretty accurate on the move, actually, as you can see there. But to be honest, a lot of people would rather go with the STA because it's kind of newer and the DPM is a little bit better. Some people would also go to Centurion just because the turret armor is a little bit better, and it leads to arguably the better tier 9. A lot of people say that the Centurion 7.1 is one of the best tier 9s in the game. The patent, the one that's past this one, the one that I'm trying to get to, is got a little DPM buff as of recently, so it's actually got pretty solid DPM, so I'm going to be trying that one out. But we do get our first kill there, and we've already done 800 damage. Now, it was kind of a risk coming up to this position here, where I am right now, but I'm going to try to make it pay off. I really like this position on airfield. This is probably the position that I go into if I have any mediums every time. If I have heavies, I still try to make it up here, and most of the time I get destroyed, so it's pretty funny. But as long as you have a decently fast medium tank or a decently fast heavy tank, you can normally make it up here. I did take a few shots getting up here, but as you guys can see, it is working out so far. Now, every time I'm side-scraping back out here, I am taking shots from this Jagdpanzer, the flat Panzer. He is shooting gold at me, so I do have to watch out for that. But I end up bouncing him there, which was nice. And let's see if we can go check out where that bounce was. I don't know if I can see it. It might have been that one on the front left fender, but I'm not really sure. And I'd really just work in this corner. Crumpets there. Punisher actually gets taken out in his Type 64. So now we are down to just me and Ollie Green Dots. And already done 1,500 damage, so really can't complain. Now the view range on this thing is pretty good. I do have optics on it, but I'm not going to actually be able to spot where I'm looking. I know the tank destroyers are camping up on this ridge right here, so I have to be very careful about that. And as you can see, my coated optics are just outside of the vision range, and even if they were inside the vision range, tank destroyer's camo is too strong, so I'm not going to be able to spot them anyway. But this game is going pretty well. No, it's actually not. 5-7 so far. We've lost a lot of pretty good players, actually. Our IS-3, not a good player, but our Panther M10 just decided that he didn't want to play this game anymore. I bounced off the KB1S there, so that wasn't ideal. But the good thing about it is that Ollie Green Dot is back there in his Jagdpanther 2. Now, he has an amazing gun on that tank, so he has been able to support me, been able to hold these guys off. And what this 5100, not 5100, what this IS-3 and this Chi-Ri are trying to do is trying to bait them to come around the corner. And apparently Crumpets had 7 bounces off the T-29 tracks, so sorry about that, Crumpets. Now, the thing about this gun is the gun handling is a little bit worse than the Centurion. I would say it's pretty comparable to the STA. You do get a couple of those, what I like to call the troll American accuracy plays, where there's certain times, you know, where you'll be fully aimed, like this might be one of them, I'm not sure. Let's see if it is. No, that wasn't one of them. You'll see a couple of them here when I'm shooting this AT-15. But I'm fully aimed, I'm shooting as Cupola, and then it just goes like that. I don't really know what that was, but I probably should have shot a little bit more to the right there. Hopefully I can hit this guy for once. There we go. But the thing with this gun and the STA's gun that I really don't see when it comes to Centurion is those shots where they just go out all over the place. My aiming reticle on is actually Jimbo's mod, and as you can see, the inner circle is 66% of the time is where the shot will go, and the outside circle is 100% of the time. And I've actually had more shots on this tank than any other tank that I can remember that I've played recently that it's gone outside that 100% circle. Now, technically that's not supposed to happen. There might be a little bug in this Jimbo's aim mod, but I have seen people, I have told people to watch it on my stream, and they're like, yeah, that actually did go outside your circle. So this tank, you know, you want to be fighting short to medium ranges. I wouldn't try to snipe with this tank unless you're shooting at something that's not very heavily armored, and if the AT-15 turns and doesn't even look at me, then of course I can penetrate him. I do have APC. I was loading APCR for those last couple shots because I wanted to make sure that I could get that AT-15 out of there. Now it is tied up. We actually just took the lead there, the 5100. Took out that SU-122-44, but I still have the tank destroyer problem. Now the tank destroyers are probably going to be camping over on that ridge, like I said earlier, and that Jagdpanzer is still alive, and he was my friend earlier, so he really enjoyed shooting me. So I don't want to actually push around. I kind of want to tell this Chi-Ri, ask him if he can go around, but surprise, the flat Panzer actually comes up, and this is a very, very bad play from him. Good shot there on him the first time. Detracts him. He has to repair, and he's not really paying attention. And I'm able to bounce him. And the Chi-Ri actually finishes him off. So good job from the Chi-Ri. Now, what's the difference? Why do I like this tank in comparison to the STA or the Centurion? Well, the whole armor on this tank is actually surprisingly bouncy. As you guys just saw there, I did bounce the Jagdpanzer. Obviously not the highest pen gun on the Jagdpanzer, but still, you will get the troll bounces. Now, if you're in a situation with the STA or the Centurion against lower tier tanks like I just was there, everything will go through no matter what. I think the STA's whole armor is 40 or 50 millimeters of armor, which is not going to bounce anything. Even a tier 6 tank like that last one could have just penned me. And the Centurions, I think, is about 70. So when you look at this whole armor, it actually is strong enough to bounce lower tier targets. Now that's why I like it, because if you do get a top tier game like this, your gun is sufficient enough, your mantlet will bounce, and your whole armor will also help you out as well. So it's kind of more suited for tier 8 games. I would say the Centurion is much better suited for tier 10 games because of the penetration. Does get 225 millimeters of pen as opposed to 180, but this tank much more suited for tier 8 games because you are actually able to abuse your side scraping a little bit, your hull angling, and I have bounced higher tier guns as well. So I do like this tank just because it's kind of the great all-arounder. You know, it's got the great gun depression, pretty good turret, pretty good hull armor, fast enough, and the gun is, in my opinion, good enough to get the job done. Now, in my ranking system, I think first I would go, I'd probably have to go Centurion, Pershing, and then STA. I think I'd put the STA third. But I am excited, like I said in the last game with the Type 61 replay, I am excited to see what happens when it comes to the tier 9s. Now, this game, I mean, there's really nothing much more to this game. I literally just sat up there that whole time, used my gun depression, used my DPM, my very limited DPM that I did have, and I was able to kill that IS-3. The IS-3 pushed around, not really sure why he did that. He was actually on 6 kills, so he's going to get a top gun for this game. Well played to him. And I'm actually on 3,800 damage. So you can see the medium tank gameplay. Really, the STA, Centurion, and Pershing are all pretty much the same at tier 8. If you want to have good gun depression, pretty good gun for their tiers, and a little bit of mobility, that's what you're looking for in this one. But this was actually my mastery badge, and we're going to go on over and look at that score screen. Alright, and here we are over at that last Pershing game score screen, and as you can see, mastery badge, Confederate, high caliber, and I ended up doing 4,300 damage, which is a little bit more than my damage mod picked up, so which is always good. We ended up hitting 93% of our shots, 9,200 win 8, which is always nice. Now, me and Ollie did some work up at the top, 4 kills, and Ollie had 2, and Crumpets sadly did not get any, but that is a-okay. 1,400 base experience, which isn't too shabby, and the next highest damage was actually Ollie at 3.5k. So, awesome game in the Pershing. Guys, I really do enjoy this tank. Make sure to go out and try it. If you need to shoot premium at the tier 10s you're facing, don't worry about doing that. It is a-okay. This thing Doesn't have the best pen, might not have the greatest gun handling, but it is an all-arounder, and I do enjoy it. Guys, this has been JackTech45, signing out. Peace.